Welcome back to A Fine Time for Healing, a place where your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being are all that matter. So put your feet up, relax, and enjoy today's show. Today's special guest, Craig Goldberg, is what many would say the world really needs right now, a relaxation expert, don't we? Craig is on a quest to help humanity achieve a deeper sense of inner calmness through the use of sound and vibration technology. He is a vibro-acoustic therapy practitioner whose work is backed by 40 plus years of research showing the many benefits of this type of therapy. Craig is a patented inventor who is behind the tech-assisted meditation and vibro-acoustic therapy and co-founder of inHarmony, a wildly successful business in the health and wellness space. He is the relaxation expert, and he's going to tell us about his company. Welcome, Craig. Thanks for being my guest today.
Good morning, Randy. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. You look very relaxed.
I mean, I don't know how much candor we want in this call, but I'm super grateful to be here and I feel very relaxed right now.
Okay, good. You look it. And that's good because it makes everybody else feel relaxed.
Indeed. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
So there's kind of a story behind why you got into this field. Would you like to share that?
Sure, absolutely. And I appreciate that, Randy. First of all, grateful to be here. Thank you for having me. And there were a lot of mouthfuls in that opening that we can dive into and dissect so that your audience better understands exactly what we do. Yeah, look, I was born and raised in New York. If you've been to New York or around New York is a very hectic, stressful, busy, nonstop, go get it kind of place. And that's really the household that I grew up in. And the hustle was a very real thing. Working part-time jobs, working lots of different angles, always doing stuff and very active in my household. My sister, my mom, my dad, everybody. And I didn't realize until I got away from New York exactly what, because you're just in it. You can't see the walls for you're in the house, so to speak.
Right.
And when I got to San Diego and life started to slow down a little bit and the beach and the weather, and all of a sudden I started to realize that there's a little bit more to life. And I started to slow down. I started to really recognize what was happening in my body. And then, of course, fast forward, I'm teaching, training, and educating on the efficacy of essential oils, traveling around the country, going from yoga retreats and trade shows, conferences, that sort of thing. And I found sound therapy. I found these incredible acoustic instruments, bells, chimes, bowls, didgeridoo, the gong. And I found these incredible frequency devices that simply project a frequency. And I now know in hindsight that the body comes into what's called harmonic resonance with frequencies that it's presented with. This happens all day long, whether they're instruments, whether it's my daughter screaming outside the door, whether it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, your body is constantly coming into harmonic resonance with the frequencies that it's presented with. And I don't believe there are any bad frequencies. But in this particular case, for the story, I was gravitated, I was pulled towards these therapists, and I loved laying in front of their instruments. And I don't know what happened. I would fall asleep, and 45 minutes later, I would wake up, and I would feel amazing, and I would feel well rested, and I would feel in alignment with that conference, that trade show, that experience. I was ready for my talk. I was focused and driven. Just felt fantastic. Fast forward, I'm an audiophile. I like good sound. I've always had a great sound system in my house, in my car, and that sort of thing. And I bought a gong CD and I cranked it and I spread all my speakers around me, and I wanted to recreate that experience that I had laying in front of a gong. And of course I failed. It wasn't the right medium. A few months later, I get a phone call from my now business partner, Dom, who says, "Hey, I think you got to come check something out. It's called a sound lounge." And I went down and I had my first sound lounge experience, which is the technology that we make. translates sound and vibration directly to the cells of your body and wraps you in a cocoon of sound and vibration. And I was mystified. I took the headphones off in the middle of the first session. I looked at him and I said, what is going on here? I need to know what you're doing. Like, what is this? And they said, put the headphones back on and lay back down. And of course I did. And I got to learn about, I was using the wrong technology. I needed to be using a tactile transducer. I was using a speaker. There's subtle differences, but in essence, that's how I got involved. I got involved loving this technology, loving the way it made me feel, and wanting to feel again what true relaxation feels like. And that is why I'm on a quest to teach people about sound and vibration, because I think, and I'm grateful for it, you, me, and everyone listening, we have co-created quite a world. We have co-created a world that is hectic, that is stressful, that breeds anxiety. And for many of us, myself included, as I started my story, we don't really know how to relax. We think we do. We think we do.
And we don't really know that we're having anxiety because it's always there.
Yeah.
And we don't know, like you said, until you get to a place of total peace. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't usually feel like this.
Yeah.
You know, my question is, I worked with a sound healer many years ago, and she was able to customize the sounds that I needed to the areas of my body that needed to be specifically targeted. And so she would create a CD and I would use that. Is that different than what you're doing?
No, it's not. So it's a slightly different approach, right? Because that sound therapist that you were working with was probably using bowls, bells, chimes, right?
And her
Acoustic
voice,
instruments, recording them.
too. Mm-hmm.
And most powerful vibroacoustic instrument on the planet, and the oldest one is the voice box, no doubt. And we use that as a very powerful tool, not just in singing, but just in speaking. Most people take this for granted, that they have this amazing tool in their toolbox, and everybody has it, well, for the most part, right? So what she was doing was creating a custom CD for you that was based on some type of biofeedback or readings, or right, whatever she was doing based on things you were telling her, hey, this is bothering me, or this is out of whack, right? And then she was using the knowledge that she has. So the formal body of research that guides what I do and what she does, called Vibro-Acoustic Therapy. Vibration, acoustic, sound and vibration therapy. And it goes back about 40 plus years, as you said in my opening, and it basically studies specific frequencies and their impact on our physiology, on our neurology, on our anatomy. All of your organs have a resonant frequency. That's a frequency at rest. And when we're being pulled into harmonic resonance by other sounds and frequencies, our organs are being pulled out of balance. They're being pulled out of and towards out of their resonant frequency and into harmonic resonance with the frequency they're being presented with. What your sound therapist is doing is saying, okay, here's the frequency that I need you to be in, and here's how I'm going to present your body with those frequencies. Listen to the CD through headphones, listen to it through a speaker that's filling the room. Your body will pick up on it. An amplified version of that is to use our inHarmony Sound Lounge, inHarmony Practitioner, inHarmony Meditation Cushion. Inside our app, we've got an app. It's called inHarmony Music Meditations. It's on iOS and Android. And if you're watching, you can scroll through all of these different tracks. All of these tiles represent a different track. Each one of these tracks is a different song. That's 174 hertz, which is a solfeggio frequency. I just picked one at random, the bottom one, but 174 hertz is really focused on bringing the body back into balance.
And do you explain before somebody chooses the meditation, is it explained what that hertz is going to accomplish or supposed to?
So there's a couple different ways to do that. We are a direct to consumer brand, and we also have clinicians and practitioners that use it. So We have a training curriculum that practitioners can go through to learn about specific frequencies and their impact on your physiology. So if you're sitting with a practitioner like you are, your sound therapist, they're the ones that's explaining this to you.
Okay.
If you're a consumer that buys our product, downloads our app, and wants to start to explore in our app, you've got track descriptions on each one, and it shows 174 supports relief from pain and stress, right? And as you build through, 285 supports the regeneration of tissues and organs. And as you work your way through, 396 facilitates the release of guilt and fear, right? So we have different frequencies in the solfeggio tones. And then we also have chakra balancing. Each chakra has its own frequency. Exposing your body to that particular frequency brings that chakra into alignment. So we have several different chakra, root to crown, crown to root, as well as each chakra. And then we also have a series called The Journey of Life, which covers all of the different emotional experiences that we have in life, creating a space to remedy and relax that aspect of your emotional well-being, grief, addiction, weight loss, inspiration, clarity, reflection, right? We have a variety of abundance. We have a variety of different tracks that we then bring that in. And now we just started a new series. We're constantly releasing new music. The app itself is $8 a month. It's $80 a year. We have dedicated staff that are constantly making new music and releasing new music in the app. So with your active subscription, you're constantly getting access to new music. The most recent track that we just released literally yesterday or 2 days ago is called The Deep Ohm. And we're revisiting our solfeggio frequency tracks. And we just released The Deep Ohm in 174 hertz. And it involves lots of singing, lots of vocals. It's a very deep expression, and use of our technology too. The transducers, generally we come in and out. It's called microtonal. It's a genre of music that takes these long drone notes and pulls them out so that you're laying in a field of that particular frequency for some time. The Deep Ohm is a very powerful expression of our technology. It's really exciting. I just listened to it for the first time yesterday, so I get giddy just like a user does.
Right.
I selfishly created this company because I needed to relax.
I think
And I
everybody
get to
does.
share
So,
it.
um,
Totally.
the work that I do, my expertise is in narcissistic abuse. I'm a coach and an expert in this area. So everyone that works with me is having anxiety, has an anxiety disorder. Many have complex PTSD, many, because it's years and years of layered trauma,
Yeah.
emotional, you know.
Yeah.
What, so is there scientific background to this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and look, as it pertains to your field, um, there's a lot to unpack there. I'm sure you're familiar with treatment-resistant PTSD, depression, and anxiety, and how they're really running rampant in the United States and really around the world,
Mhm.
where you have folks that are exposed to such traumas, and conventional medicine just doesn't have the answers. Psychedelic therapy is certainly something that is up and coming, and the research side of those things is something that I think is very interesting. However, a lot of folks have anxiety and apprehension even getting into that world by itself. So
And that's
it's
not even, that's science, that has not been really perfected because,
100%.
right, those people that have gone through that I know, they come out with a little bit of results, and some feel weird from it, so it's not really, and then
Like
there's microdosing and there's all kinds of things. But so tell us how this deals with these people who don't have the off switch for their fight
yeah,
or flight.
yeah. So it's a very powerful part of the conversation. And I only mentioned psychedelic therapy to say that it's not there yet in some
Mhm.
ways. Ketamine clinics are having some great success and high levels of efficacy in treating those.
Mhm.
And we couple and pair very well with those types of emerging technologies, because it really is emerging medicine and it really is the tip of the spear in a lot of ways.
Right.
However, a lot of folks can't do that for a variety of different reasons. And that's where sound and vibration starts to come in. So in a matter of about 15 minutes of your session, the body begins to kick in the chemical cascades associated with parasympathetic nervous system response, deactivating that fight or flight, that sympathetic nervous system response, and activating that parasympathetic or rest and digest nervous system response. It's almost automatic, and it's not something that you need to think about. So as the mind is dwelling on whatever it is that the mind is dwelling on, sound and vibration distracts your mind. The physical sensation literally send messages to every muscle in your body telling it to relax. So there's a lot that's happening here in the physical experience that your body is having. We hear sound through obviously the cochlea in our ears and the auditory nerve. We also, a percentage of our hearing, about 30% of our hearing is through our eyes. And I don't know the exact percentage. We need to do some science and research on this, but there's also a large percentage of hearing that happens through the body, through the mechanoreceptors in the body, which are in the top layer of your skin and detect changes in pressure and then send signals to the brain that there's a change in pressure. It's why you feel a breeze, right? And that subtle change in pressure, or somebody touches your arm, or there's a bug crawling on your leg. What your brain is interpreting is not true touch. It's a change in pressure on your skin.
Okay.
And that signal comes back to the brain. When you're laying on a sound lounge, when you're laying or sitting on our meditation cushion, your physical body is detecting changes in pressure all over your skin. All of those signals are coming to the brain. It's coupled with the same frequencies that you're listening to. This creates a three-dimensional, fully immersive sound experience. Your brain literally thinks it's encapsulated in this sound and frequency because the same pressure changes that are happening in the body are the same pressure changes that are in the ear. Our hearing is actually changes in pressure. It's not sound waves hitting air molecules like I thought before I got into this industry. It's actually changes in pressure. So that's what the brain is interpreting as sound. And that's what puts you in that field. So the sensation of vibroacoustic therapy, we're literally shaking every single cell in your body. So for your clients that are dealing with treatment-resistant PTSD and are dealing with highly anxiety and stressful kind of lifestyles, if you will, my suggestion for them is to start very, very slow and very, very low. Because are you familiar with the concept of hormesis?
No.
Okay, you will be once I explain it to you.
Okay.
Hormesis is basically through trauma we get stronger. If you go to the gym and you work out, you're familiar with hormesis. You're tearing the muscle apart. When you work biceps or triceps, you're tearing the muscle apart. The muscle grows back stronger. And that's true of most trauma that the human body goes through. And we need trauma to grow. And I know that that's difficult for a lot of people to hear, but there is strength and power in the traumatic experiences that we have.
Very much so, yes.
And that's often, look, some of the greatest leaders on the planet have gone through some of the most horrific experiences of this life.
Right.
And I'll give you another great example that I think is relatively timid. You remember the biodomes that they created? First biodome failed because there was no wind. The trees did not grow strong. So a tree that's blowing in the wind is gaining strength from that wind. Okay. Now, of course, there's Hurricane Andrew and gale force winds and things that can break it down.
I live in South Florida. Yes, I know.
But it grows back, right? And
right.
It grows back oftentimes stronger. I've got a tree in my backyard that's blown over and now is growing upwards.
Yeah.
Right. So, again, it's through that mild trauma that we get stronger. When you lay down on a sound lounge, we are shaking every single cell in your body. The chemical cascades associated with combating that mild trauma is what brings strength and what brings in the parasympathetic nervous system response. That's the mechanism of action. That's why it takes about 15 minutes for those chemical cascades to kick in. And then after that, you're feeling calm and relaxed. So a lot of times folks get on our tech and they can feel a little bit more anxiety at the beginning of their session. Okay. And I know for some that sounds horrific, and I completely understand that, which is why I say go very, very low. Vibro-acoustic therapy is a very powerful technology. It needs to be respected. And a lot of times people get in, they'll just be like, give me it all. Right. And they just want it, right? And and you really need to ease into it. For most Americans, we're living a very sedentary life, myself included. I can find myself in front of this desk. It is now 8:37. I sat down at 8 a.m. I could sit in front of this desk until 6 p.m. easy
Me
without
too.
getting up, without taking a break.
Yeah.
So we're living these sedentary lifestyles, and I know better. I'm sitting in front of red light therapy. I've got my vibroacoustics outside. I've got a pool, right? Like, but before you blink, you're sitting here for 8 hours straight, and you've just been hyper focused on a task, whatever that might be. We live a very sedentary lifestyle. I have a rebounder, mini trampoline outside in my healing room. The reason I have that is because lymphatic drainage is really important. Jumping up and down, walking. I used to live in New York City. I used to walk 5-10 miles a day.
Right.
Now I'm lucky if I walk a mile, right? Just in general. So we need to do other things that get our lymphatic system moving. Our technology will do that. So if you're living a sedentary lifestyle and your digestion, your circulatory system, your lymphatic system is not working well, and then all of a sudden you lay down on a bed and we shake every cell in your body and we activate that lymph, you're going to feel detox symptoms. You're
Okay.
going to feel that movement. So I always recommend to start slow, ease into it. And for somebody like yourself that's working with clients, you now have access to a very powerful tool to help folks calm and relax and start to process and peel away the layers of relaxation, because it's a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. What took you years to get into is going to take you months to unravel, and not years necessarily to unravel, because I think you unravel it faster, especially given the tools to expedite it.
Right.
But what took years to get you in will take months to get out.
Okay. So my question is can we heal that faulty switch? Can we fix that response? And I know that I have the same thing, okay, because I grew up in an environment like that, in a crazy traumatic environment like that. And so I know that my fight or flight switch is faulty. I know that it doesn't shut off so easily. So is this a way to heal it, or is this a way to maintain it?
So we're never going to change the external stimuli. And I think this is, it's just part of life, right? Life is going to constantly happen. I just moved into a new house. I have a 3-year-old. Last night at 1 o'clock in the morning, she's sleeping in a new bed in a new house, and she came in and she wanted, me or mom to cuddle with her. I lay down with her, right? Using the sound lounge isn't going to stop my daughter from coming in my room and waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and interrupting my sleep, right? That's still going to happen.
Right.
It is going to change how I react to that. Viktor Frankl wrote a phenomenal book on a Holocaust survivor, and I'll butcher the quote, but it's something along the lines of, between a stimuli and our reaction, there is a space, and it's in that space that we find peace, right? We get to decide how we're going to react to that stimuli. The stimuli don't stop. Life doesn't quit. You're still going to have to deal with the DMV. You're still going to have to deal with, right, all the things that we've co-created, and we can have a political conversation another time. But nonetheless, right, like, you still got to get the mail every day. You still got to deal with the penny savers that get sent to you, even though you turned them off. It's just life. And it has stress associated with it. What we will change, to your point, is how you react to that. And it's not to say that fight or flight isn't going to kick in. My hope with the work that we do is that your fight or flight is less trigger happy. Okay. Is that you are presented with things today, after you've been using our technology, that would have sent you for a tailspin yesterday.
Gotcha.
And all of a sudden you look at that, and it's usually other people that notice it. Like, my wife will say something like, "You're really working on yourself, huh?" Right? Like, because yesterday that would have thrown you for a tailspin, and be like, "Yeah, you know what? It's just not that big of a deal." Right? Or, look, it's not going to change your family. I love my family, love and blessings to every single one of them. They're absolutely incredible. I'm grateful. But sometimes they do some stuff that drives me nuts. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I do stuff that drives them nuts too. And I fully accept that, right? Like,
right.
I'm grateful for it. Hopefully, with regular application of vibroacoustic therapy, sound therapy, talk therapy, all the different things, that tools that we have at our fingertips, sunshine exposure, a good night's sleep, drinking good water, nutrients, vitamins, minerals, right? Like
Right.
all of these
All of
things.
them. Right.
Yeah, there's not just one. Now, I will say this. I have a background in health and wellness, biohacking, optimal human performance, and it goes far beyond. I'm sitting here in front of a red light. I've got the rebounder. Exercise is important to me. So is sunlight. There's a lot of different aspects that you can use to hack your biology to get that advancement. I chose vibroacoustic therapy because I believe it is so foundational to everything that we do. I chose the nervous system because every single person listening right now has a brain and a nervous system. And for most of us, it's misfiring, to your point. And when it's misfiring, we are ill-equipped to handle the regular, normal, day-to-day trials and tribulations. Because when you're in that sympathetic nervous system response, your brain and your body is in fight or flight. It's designed to be a temporary state. And many of us are in that state from 8 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, day after day, week after week, month after month. And that's when it becomes detrimental to our health. A quick firing sympathetic nervous system response here or there, no big deal.
Right.
As this starts to compound itself, when you're sitting in fight or flight, it's possible your reproductive organs are turned off. It's possible your immune system is turned off. It's possible your digestion is turned off. Cognitive ability, rational thinking is turned off. And there are many other, your adrenals are usually fried. All of a sudden that leads to hormone displacement and dysregulation of your entire body. It opens up an opportunity for dis-ease.
Yes.
And that's the core problem that I want to address and solve. The more time you can spend cool, calm, and collected, the more time your body will do the things that it was brilliantly and naturally designed to do. And that's where the power of our technology is. The longer and more often I can keep you in parasympathetic, the more often your body is designed and operating the way that it was beautifully designed to do so.
Okay. So my question is, all right, so we obviously, as human beings, it doesn't matter if we're going back thousands of years or now, there's always been stressors, but the stressors are a little bit different. Was there ever a time where we were vibroacoustically more in harmony?
Sure, absolutely. As I look around my very safe house, okay, to your point, I think today there are actually less physical stressors on our body and on our physical mind, body, and spirit.
Okay.
It's 2023 as we're recording this, and again, there's certainly chaos in the world. So depending on where you're located, I'm here in Las Vegas. I live in a really quiet neighborhood. There's 4 houses on my block, and I'm surrounded by open desert. I'm pretty safe here. I think you're pretty safe in your house as well.
I am.
Just 200 years ago, human beings here in Las Vegas, if they were here or anywhere in the United States, were very concerned with simply surviving. How are they going to make it through the night and wake up, especially in the Northeast where it got cold and you had to deal with cold weather and can you find fire and really survival was a concern. That's just 200 years ago. The human body, the mind, the nervous system has not evolved yet to accept and appreciate how safe we truly are. As I sit in my home that has recessed lighting and electricity and gas and water brought to it and a water filter and I live in a pretty safe environment. I think most Americans do. The nervous system is still designed to trigger and to look for those survival. And that's why that sympathetic nervous system is kicking in. So to your point, the body has not evolved. And because of that, we are triggered and we kick in because the mind is constantly, we all have that negative self-talk. I promise. Mine is as loud as yours is in the mind that's saying, don't do that. What happens if this happens? It's one of the most terrific things in my mind, literally. Like I'll be driving, I'll be driving on a cliff with my family, and I'll have the thought like, what if I made a left? I wouldn't, right? That's
Right.
not to, but my my mind, my ego that wants to protect me, that wants to create fear, that wants to make sure I don't do that, is constantly evaluating all scenarios. And that scenario is one of those potential scenarios, and it pops in. And of course you don't do it, but it's there. The mind is constantly in survival mode, and it's constantly there to protect you. And that's what kicks in. The thought kicks in the fight or flight. And now all of a sudden, if you don't have the tools to get out of fight or flight, to go, no, we're not going to do that. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. I'm enjoying time with my family. And I look back at my daughter and my wife, and we go about our day. Then you're okay. The problem is when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you look at your phone right away and you find an email from your boss at a job that you hate, and all of a sudden you're in fight or flight. And now you go to the bathroom to brush your teeth and wash your face, and you get toothpaste on your, the shirt that you're going to wear. And then you get in the car and you start to drive to work, and it's usually a 10-minute drive, but for some reason a car accident happened right in front of you. The street is shut down. You can't back up. You can't go forward. You're going to be, all of a sudden life just stacks up. And if you're cool, calm, and collected, and that stuff happens, you brush it off. When you're in that fight or flight stress response, you just feel as though there's nothing you can do to get out of it. You just feel like life just keeps kicking you while you're down, and it just continues to stack up. But if you're cool, calm, and collected, if you're not in fight or flight, if you're in parasympathetic, the toothpaste hits your shirt, and sometimes you just go, you know what? That's the shirt I'm wearing today. Or you go, you know what? I got a clean shirt in the closet. It's going to take me an extra 30 seconds. Let me fire off a text that just says, hey, might be a couple of minutes late.
Right.
You get into traffic and that accident happens in front of you, and you're cool, calm, and collected. You roll down the window, you crank the radio, you just kind of soak up the fact that you send a text message that says, hey, I'm going to be a couple minutes late. This Yahoo just decided to open his trunk in the middle of 4th Avenue, and I'm watching. Here's a picture. Right. So if we can manage how we react to these different environments, and I recognize that it's not easy. I am 6.5 years using vibroacoustic therapy. When I first got access to my technology, I was using it every single day, multiple times a day, morning, noon, and night, as needed. Now I'm probably on it once a day. And the reason I said once a week is because I just moved. So I had to break down all of my technology. I just got it set up 2 days ago, and I just got back on my tech. Bless one of my affiliates, Hearts. He got me on the tech on Saturday when I went to drop something off at his house, and he went, you look like you need a session. And I was like, my movers just left. Like, I got to get back to my house. My daughter's going to sleep. Like, now's not a great time for a session. He was like, you're going to lay down right now. And I was like, okay, yes, sir.
That's hard. It's hard to break, to stop in the middle of your, of what you're doing and what you got to get done, and just, and just say, I'm going to take 10 minutes to breathe, or, I'm going to just, but we don't realize how much stress we put our body through when we don't take a break, and we really can take a very short amount of time, listen to the vibroacoustic therapy, meditate, or just breathe, and
breath is very powerful.
And we can reset our bodies and not stress them out so much. There's a lot of talk. The vagus nerve has become like the star of
I live in Las Vegas.
Vegas nerve, the vagus nerve, right? And I learned about this decades ago when I went to a specialist in New York City for a throat specialist. She had a voice specialist actually, and she was one of the pioneers of focusing on the vagus nerve. But now we know that the vagus nerve is responsible for so many things, digestion and everything, but it's also part of this anxiety response that we have. What can you say about that?
So the vagus nerve is it's the main thoroughfare. It's the main nerve that connects basically all of the main organs to the brain and then some. We're finding out more and more about how impactful it is on both the sympathetic nervous system response and parasympathetic. Before I get into that vagus nerve, I think it's really important to understand how much the brain is processing every single second that we're not aware of. So 4 billion, these are the numbers that I've gotten, and it's certainly debatable. Something like 4 billion bits of information per second are processed by the brain. And if you know differently, I'm open. I've heard swaths in lots of different directions. 4 billion.
It's a lot. Okay.
Let's just say it's a
lot.
ton. Okay. Every mechanoreceptor at once is sending, and then we have parts of our brain that weed out and filter what we can consciously process. So 4 billion bits of information coming in. Think about it. All the things you hear, all the things you see, all the things you feel, all the things you touch, all the things you think about, all of the internal processes that you don't, it's mind-boggling. Okay. The conscious mind can handle 4 bits of information per second. Okay. So the reticular activator system, the default mode network, the different aspects of the brain are constantly filtering out. The vagus nerve is part of that main thoroughfare that is sending information to the brain and feeling what's going on in your brain, in your body. So as you put your hands out, and we have an auric field and we are energetically interacting with the world, let's not even worry about the energetics. Let's just talk about the physical touch, sight, sound, smell, taste, all of the ways that we perceive this environment. Our brain is constantly evaluating. It's all through the vagus nerve to the brain. Right. Okay. When the vagus nerve and these 5 senses evaluate danger, what it interprets as danger, you kick into fight or flight. This is not voluntary. It's not something you think about. It is a spidey sense. It is something doesn't feel right. It is a noise that you heard that's unusual. I was laying in my daughter's bed last night. Actually, I was laying in bed with my wife. I'm in a new house. We just moved in on Saturday. It's
wow.
It's
Friday. Okay. Well, thank you for being here, because I know things are hectic. Okay.
I'm absolutely grateful to be here, and this literally warms my heart to be having these conversations and to be able to share these stories. And as I was laying down in bed last night, I heard some noises that didn't sound natural. It's a very quiet neighborhood. I am literally surrounded by open desert there's not a lot of houses here. And I heard a knock and a bang that sounded like something was on the roof. It woke me up and I was awake. I wasn't going back to bed. And I have a trained nervous system, right? Now, I thought through it. What could that noise be? Could it be an animal? Could it be something on the roof? But it sounded like a knock, and then a few seconds later, I heard it again. And again, very quiet. Okay. So what happened there? We're talking about the vagus nerve. We're talking about reactions and the sympathetic nervous system response. My brain evaluated that noise as something that's out of context and said, this is important, pay attention. And I did. Okay. And it fired up adrenaline and cortisol through my veins. The cortisol makes me more aware and awake. The adrenaline diverts energy from maintenance tasks like sleep, rest, and digest to the major muscle groups of my body. And all of a sudden, I'm amped, ready to go. The vagus nerve is a really important aspect of the highway, the super highway that is within our nervous system. And there are a number of different things that you can do to relax that expression and that reaction. Again, not going to change it, not going to remove it. You're still going to have the ability to go into fight or flight, as I just shared with you. You're still going to have the ability for, my wife, my daughter, when my daughter screams, my entire nervous system is rattled. I don't think that will ever change. That is a connection and a bond that I have with my daughter that will forever be the way that it is. There are things that you can do to calm and relax the vagus nerve. One of my favorites is a weighted eye mask. Laying down and putting weight on the eyelids actually reduces pressure off of the vagus nerve and helps you to relax.
That's good.
Vibration helps to relax. Ear therapy and lasers on the ears and the meridians of the ears can actually help to relax the vagus nerve. So there's quite a bit of science now that's starting to come out to talk about vagus nerve stimulation in particular. That is a search term that you can put into Dr. Google. And start to dive down the rabbit holes of these different calming mechanisms specific to the vagus nerve. And there are many modalities that are tapping into, because it's such an important superhighway in the body that we're really starting to identify ways that we can expeditiously calm and relax the nervous system, which can in turn be done through this major nerve called the vagus nerve.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for asking me about that. I don't think I've ever spoken about that before. So that's
well,
awesome.
You have a very good knowledge of it. I know one of the things that we can do, and as I was listening to you, I understood why this works, but we need to bring ourselves into the present and engage all our senses. And when we engage all our senses, we bring ourselves to more to neutral. We take ourselves out of that fight or flight. So that makes
Yeah.
sense to me. There are several things, breathing, exhaling and breathing and
Yeah.
things like that can relax the vagus nerve. Right.
Breath is incredibly powerful, by the way. Breath controls the mind controls the body is the mantra that I like to reiterate. And breath controls the mind controls the body. So when you find yourself breathing short, breathing from the top half of your chest and your lungs, that's when you need to say to yourself, regardless of whether you have a perceived knowledge of a threat or not. And this is, I think, something that's really important to mention. Like, if you find yourself breathing short, it's usually an indication that something's happening, that your brain or your nervous system is processing something, whether you're aware of it or not, whether it's been brought to the foreground for you or your nervous system is going, there's a snake rattling behind you and you just haven't heard it yet, perceived to heard it. Your brain hears it, right? Like, if you find yourself breathing short, take a hold, exhale, and hold. That box breathing is something I come back to on a regular basis. You don't need an app. You don't need a guide. You don't need anything. Just
The box. 4 in, hold 4, 4 out, hold 4. Right.
yeah, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes I'll go
Right.
longer and longer and longer and
Right.
stretch out how long I inhale, how
Right.
long I hold, how
Mm-hmm.
long I exhale, how long I hold empty.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of play with it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Within my own head, like, how long can I hold my breath? How
Right.
deep
Exactly.
can I
And the
go?
more you do
Am
it,
I using my
right,
diaphragm to fill my lungs?
right, the more you do it, the longer you can hold it.
Yeah,
So,
like a diver, right?
mhm,
Practice.
absolutely. So tell us how, if we wanted to use the inHarmony app,
Yeah.
how would we do that?
So the easiest way is on Android and iPhone. Simply go into the App Store, Google Play or iOS, and download the app. It comes with a free 14-day full featured trial
Hmm.
so there's no money out of pocket to try it for 14 days.
Okay, good.
And simply download the app and begin to listen through headphones, through a Bluetooth speaker. And if you like the way you feel through that and you want to upgrade to the inHarmony meditation cushion, the inHarmony practitioner, if you do body work and massage therapy, acupuncture, acupressure, we've got guys and gals that do eyelashes, that do cranial sacral, that do body work on our technology to add vibroacoustic therapy to body work. It's absolutely phenomenal. And then the full upgrade and the full send, if you will, is the inHarmony Sound Lounge. It's our Cadillac. It's our largest product. You're laying down. It's full. They're all full body. The meditation cushion is designed. We have a patent on our meditation cushion because of the ergonomics and because of the way that it's designed. Your entire body is sitting in the field of vibration. But obviously it's your lower half of your body because you're sitting upright. On our Sound Lounge, you're laying down. So it's the ultimate upgrade. Think of our technology as a delivery system for sound and vibration, creating a cocoon around you. And the easiest way to get started is to take a look at our website. I am inharmony.com. If you have any questions, my phone number is at the bottom of the website. It's also right across the top. It literally says, if you've got questions, call our co-founder. And my phone number is literally, with my extension, is right at the top of my website. If you're on a computer, you can actually click on that link and schedule time through Calendly, and we can have a conversation. I'm also the guy in all the DMs on all of our social networks: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. That's me on the other side of the comments, and it's me on the other side of the direct messages. I love to connect. I love to talk about our technology. I love to help people on their journeys to the best versions of themselves, just like you as well, Randi.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah.
easiest way to get started is to start with the app. We do have a 30-day money-back guarantee on all of our technology, so you can try it for 30 days in your own home. And if you don't like it, send it back. We'll give you a refund. I don't want anybody to have my technology that doesn't like it and love it and want to use it every single day.
That's
We have
good.
a very low return rate.
That's good. And you truly believe in what you do, which is, I mean,
Yeah.
you're selling a product that you wholeheartedly believe is
I
a
use
good
it every day.
thing.
And so does my daughter at 3 years old, my wife, my housemates.
Mhm.
Like, this is something that I think I said this already. I selfishly created this company for a technology that I love and that I use and that I needed in my life.
Mhm.
And now I know other people need in their lives as well.
Is there a recommended amount of time to use this per day when you get started?
You can't overdo it.
You can't.
You
Unless, well,
cannot.
unless you have un, treat resistant.
Extenuating circumstances
Right.
aside,
Okay.
you really can't overdo it. Now, look, there are some contraindications. There's no research on pregnant women all using our technology. There's no research on pregnant women doing a lot of things. So if you're pregnant or nursing, see your doctor. I can tell you, my daughter, that I don't think you can hear that. She's literally screaming just
Really?
outside that door.
I
Yeah,
cannot hear her.
it's the voice cancellation. Like scream. It's a happy scream. It's not a bad. She's just singing and
Oh,
being
she's happy.
jovial, and
Okay, good, good,
you
good.
know, it's morning, and she's playing with her uncles
She's
and mom.
joyful. Okay.
Oh, she's yeah. She's got a little cafe and a kitchen, and she's like inviting people in. Today's burrito day. It's remarkable what's
Sounds good.
happening in my household at 9 o'clock in the morning. Um, this is something that I forgot where I was. I was talking about my daughter, and I forgot what I was talking about. Oh well.
So we were talking about there's certain contraindications
Oh yeah.
for using it,
Contraindications.
and you
Okay.
got to the point of pregnancy.
Yes. So my wife used it straight through her pregnancy. Granted, lower volume. Mom needs to be comfortable. Baby is already, the ears are the first thing to develop in the fetus. Baby is already hearing. Sound travels 5 times more efficiently through water than it does through air.
Hmm.
So again, in the amniotic fluid, baby is hearing everything from a very early age. So vibration, that's why they say kind of take headphones and put them on mom's belly so baby can listen to music. Mom humming, singing her voice very clear to baby throughout the pregnancy. So my wife used it through her pregnancy. My business partner Dom, his son's mom used it through pregnancy, and my daughter was on it within 1 week of being in this world.
Really?
We went through the checklist. She was still crying. I said, I'm going to put her on the sound lounge. I laid her down on the sound lounge. I picked up her head so that my hand and her head was off the sound lounge. And within 3 seconds, she was like looking around and stopped crying. And felt
Ooh.
that sensation. So not a lot of research on pregnant women. If you have a tumor, depending on the tumor, you're going to want to talk to where you are in your medical journey, if you will. Blood clotting, you want to be cautious. We don't want to rupture and dislodge if you have a tendency to blood clot. If you have an open wound, again, an open cut that's trying to heal, you want to wait to shake every cell in your body until that wound has healed and
Okay.
closed. So there's a few contraindications. There's a couple of others. You'll want to talk with your therapist or reach out to us, frankly, if you have any questions. I am a certified vibro-acoustic therapy practitioner. It just means that I've studied and researched the impact of sound and frequency on the body. And I'm very happy to answer those questions or put you in touch with somebody that can.
Hmm. Um, and the last question I want to ask you is, I'm looking through your notes from your publicist, and you, you actually add diet and nutrition as part of this process. And I think, well, it's the part of all processes as far as the health of our body, mind, body, spirit.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular focus for that?
I mean, the most broad and general advice that I can give when it comes to diet and nutrition,
Mhm.
if it comes out of the ground, eat a lot of it. If it comes in a box, eat less of it. I mean, without diving too much into diet and nutrition, we need to
Right.
be eating foods from the earth, organic, not conventional. If you can grow your own food, even better. There's a lot that's riddled in that question.
What is
But
you keep talking about the sound lounge. Is that an actual thing that you lay on?
yes, it
Is that
is.
like a
So
chair, like a lounge
it
chair?
it is. Yeah. Let me put on a virtual background and I'll
Okay.
show you exactly
Okay.
what our what our technology is. So this is the
Ooh,
inHarmony Sound Lounge for those of you that are watching this
nice.
in video.
Mhm.
And this gentleman is laying down on the sound lounge. So there's a metal base that's covered with a cover, and then the mattress itself that you're laying on, it's ergonomically designed. It's very comfortable. It's powered by the amplifier and the app. And he's wearing headphones and he's immersed in that experience. So that is the inHarmony Sound Lounge. And then we also have a practitioner model, which is designed to go on top of a
Oh, okay.
massage table. We make the mattress that he's laying on top of. It's also connected to an amplifier and a speaker,
Hmm.
so that you can hear your client and interact with your client on a regular basis. And the last piece of technology that we have is called the inHarmony meditation cushion. Again, this is what we were offered and issued a design patent for. There is an amplifier and speakers built into this. You can also plug in headphones. And this is the delivery systems that we create. If you're listening to this podcast and not watching, you can go to inharmony.com, inharmony.com, and you'll see all of our products listed right on our homepage as well.
Wow. So you've taken an idea or a dream and you've really built a lot around it.
Thank you. I
That's
appreciate
exciting.
that. Look, we've been doing this for 6.5 years. We are very much leaders in this industry. It's not a very large industry. There are more and more people that are coming in, I feel like, by the month. But generally speaking, we've been doing this for 6.5 years. November will be 7 years. And we are very much leaders in this industry. We want to go as broad and as large and as wide as we possibly can. We want to teach people and really evangelize. That's my role. My role is simply to evangelize the power of sound and vibration, to talk about its impact on the nervous system, and to teach people that there is an outlet, that you can truly feel relaxation. When you lay on that sound lounge and you feel those vibrations come through every cell in your body, you peel away the layers of relaxation. You melt into, you feel tension lift and release from parts of your body that you didn't even know it was there. It is one of the most incredible experiences that I truly believe everybody needs to experience. You don't have to buy our tech to do that. I get that it's expensive. I understand that it's an investment. And if I could give it all away for free, I would. But obviously, we're a business and obviously we need profit. And obviously, it costs things to manufacture, logistics, and all the different things that goes into making and building this business. We have to charge for it. There are practitioners popping up all over the world. On our website, inharmony.com, scroll about 3/4 down the homepage and you'll find demo our technology and a map. Click on the map, put in your zip code, and see if there's a practitioner near you where you can actually go and buy a session, or you can ask them for a free demonstration. All of our affiliates will give you a free demonstration of our technology. So this doesn't have to be anything that costs money. You can evaluate it first. And if there's nobody nearby, send me a message or call me directly. And let's make it risk-free for you to try our technology. Again, I don't want anybody to have our tech that doesn't love it. And I truly believe in the power of it. Bring it home, use it in the privacy of your own home for 30 days. You want more time than that? I'll even negotiate that and talk about more time as well. I've extended that to 45 days, 60 days, 90 days on plenty of occasions for folks to evaluate the technology. So very happy to work with anybody. I am exceptionally passionate about this,
I can tell.
about the impact of this technology and what it does. This is sincere. This is what I do full time. And I truly want impact. I want to help you relax. I want to help you feel alive, to feel like life is amazing and incredible and beautiful and colorful and all of the magical things that this life can bring to us.
I can't help but think, and I'm sure you've gone here already, and you don't have to commit to the answer, but franchising sound lounges.
I would love to. So here's the thing. I have zero interest in operating a retail location personally. Zero. We've been approached by folks that want to franchise what we're doing. I want to be really good at manufacturing and distribution. That's what I focus on. My business partner, Dominic, is a whiz when it comes to engineering and logistics, manufacturing. We've got great partners. I want to be really good at managing the supply chain and making sure that when you place an order on my website, within 48 hours, I'm shipping to you. And within another, however long it takes to get to you, and you can do overnight shipping if you want to pay for it. I want to be really good at that. I have no interest in running a retail location. I am happiest when I'm doing this,
Right.
connecting with like-minded individuals, evangelizing the technology and talking about it. But I think you're 100% correct. I think there's a great opportunity for sound lounge centers all over the world, in
Absolutely.
airports, in malls. Kiosks need to be built. Like,
Hmm.
the thing is, developing technology, prototyping, and building things from scratch takes time. And that's what we're in the process of building and doing. We're also bootstrapped, no outside investment. That
Oh,
slows things
wow.
down a little bit.
That's amazing.
So we're doing it as fast as we can. We're growing expeditiously, and look, we can grow faster, no doubt. But look, it's conversations like this that help us to get more awareness out, and allow us to really teach, train, and educate on what we do and how we do it.
Right. And you're doing a great job of that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really
Yeah, I
appreciate
used
you having
to, my
me.
husband and I used to own 2 Massage Envy franchises.
Yeah.
And so, that sort of came to my mind. I could just imagine that would be so popular for people to go to sound lounges. But, and let me tell you something, franchising is a rat race. So I don't advise it, but
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, just retail in general, it's tough, and a lot of folks don't realize. Look, I'm a 25-year entrepreneur. I love taking an idea from the back of a napkin on a bar stool. Like, this is a good idea. Does this exist? No, I can't believe that doesn't exist. Let's do that.
right.
And to go back to regulations and accountants and business partners and lawyers and legal, and there's a
As soon
lot
as,
to it. Franchising is turnkey, and it certainly makes it easier. But for the
Mhm.
franchisor, creating all of that,
Yeah, sort of. I
needs to be a
mean, it
full-time focus.
depends. It depends, like I remember the first day that we owned our first location. I went, oh my God, I don't think I like this because I'm a creative person. I'm a out of the box thinker. I'm a big picture thinker.
Not in a
And
franchise.
I was like boxed in. I'm like,
My mom and my dad owned a Relax the Back
oh,
for
okay.
years, and they got a full dose. They had 2 stores on Long Island. My dad actually sat at the as the chair to the marketing
Oh, wow. Okay.
committee, and got very involved. But that's my dad. My dad is creative. He's a leader, and all of a sudden he found himself in this franchise and was like,
Like,
wait a
you
minute,
can't move. You just
I need to
can't.
steer the ship, right? Like, yeah,
Right. You just can't.
so
They're right. There's nowhere to go, and they're always watching you. So, yeah.
totally.
But anyway, well, that's neither here nor there because that's not really where you're at. But I it was so good to talk to you today. Thank you. I'm going to actually check out the app because if I think it's great, I'm going to recommend it.
Please do. And look, a powerful tool to be used with your clientele as well. Even with a Bluetooth speaker, the app is very powerful. The music that we're creating, very, very powerful. I am so grateful for being here, Randi. Thank you so much to you and your audience, your production team. Thank you for having me here today. I am eternally grateful, and I very much look forward to our next conversation.
Yes, absolutely. When there's a new innovation or something, just ring me up.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
And we'll
I
come back.
definitely will.
Okay, Craig, have a great day. Give that little girl a kiss.
I
Bye-bye.
shall. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.